Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee, your water, your tea, and sit back and let's talk some astrology, human design, and some possible oracle cards this morning. Thank you for joining me, Roseanne and Suzanne. It's good to see you out there this morning. And it's a dreary morning here in the Pacific Northwest. In fact, I was like, God, is it time to go on air? It's so dark outside. We still are getting rained on, but it's okay because the rain eventually gives us that beautiful green that we enjoy for a good chunk of the summer. So what are we going to talk about today? Lots going on. Yesterday, we talked about human design in the gate 17 and 18, where the sun is at 17 and the gate 18 is where the earth is. And Roseanne says it's raining where she is too. I guess it is still that time of the year. So today yesterday we looked at the shadow of those two gates, and the shadows being of gate 17, opinion, and the shadow of gate 18 being judgment. Good morning, Mimi. It's good to see you. How did it go judging the kids' art yesterday? I was thinking about that yesterday afternoon for you. Suzanne says sun here, but I don't want to jinx it. I forgot where you are, Suzanne. Let me know. So at any rate, we'll tap into your sunshine and spread it. How's that? So yesterday when we talked about the shadow of these types of things, yesterday we talked about the shadow. Today I want to look at what the gift is in these two. And the gift in Gene Key 17 or Gate 17 is far-sightedness. She's in Utah, everybody. Suzanne's in Utah. Utah has sunshine. That's amazing. And Mimi says, yesterday was great. So much young talent. Remember, Mimi yesterday was judging an art contest or maybe an art show for kids. So how cool is that? So the Gene Key 17, far-sightedness, our ability to see far ahead. And Gate 18 in the gift is about integrity. So let's take a little bit deeper look at what that means. So far-sightedness is if you're stuck in an opinion, then likely you are not able to see ahead of you because you've got yourself boxed in to something, right? An opinion by design or by definition is just that, something that you've kind of defined as true, at least for you. And if you put yourself in that little box, then it's hard for you to see anything but, correct? Right? If you are of the opinion that Republicans suck and Democrats rule, it's going to be very hard for you to see the truth of any other candidate, right? Because the opinion is so powerful, and our need as a human to categorize and arrange things into boxes or into organized parts is very powerful. So in order to rise to the level of farsightedness this week, or in this gene key, we really have to learn the lesson from the heart, because the energy of farsightedness arises from the heart and not from the mind, not from the head. And the only way that can happen is if we begin to hold on to the idea of opinions and, relax them a bit, let's say, in order to see from a different place. It's like, I want to say it was Einstein. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Einstein who said, you can't solve a problem from the same level from which it was created, right? So it is the mind that creates and holds the opinions. So it is not going to be the mind that can release us from that. We're going to have to go to the heart, and the heart views with different eyes. The heart has actually been proven to have cells that are very similar to the mind in the brain, but it thinks from a different place. Where the mind is thinking from what it sees or what truths it's gathered, the heart is thinking more from the soul, a deeper place of truth. So when we can allow ourselves to relax those opinions and just look deeper, look further, then we can move into the gift of farsightedness in this gene key. Now, gene key 18, a completely different story. These two are kind of interlocked, by the way. They're what they call in the gene keys programming partners, meaning that they're often found together. So if you have the sun at gate 17, the earth is always in gate 18. So they're working in tandem. In fact, there's never a time that the sun is at gate 17 where the earth isn't at gate 18. So they are really found together. So if you have the sun at gate 17 in your human design chart, you also have the earth then at gate 18. That's how linked these two are. So opinion and judgment, which was the lower expression of gate 18, go hand in hand or in lockstep. If you look at it from that point of view, you can see how difficult it is sometimes in this world of ours when we're locked into those opinions or we're locked into judgment. Now, if you have gate 17 at a different place in your chart, it does not necessarily hold that gate 18 is there as well. Only the sun and earth combinations are programming partners. I hope that makes sense. All right. So when we're looking at integrity then as the gift of gene key 18 or gate 18, what we're really seeing here is that the outer world is only a picture of what our inner world is needing to release and process. So let me say that again. The key then to raising our frequency to this level of integrity lies in knowing that everything external in our lives is a mirror of an internal process, let's call it, or an internal something that is seeking resolution. So let's see what we can tease from this a little bit. Within and without. Exactly, Roseanne. That's perfect. So if we're constantly, and so I want to also tell you that there are levels of this. For example, we are humans on a collective, right? Collectively, we're seeing a rather interesting world right now, right? So we're tapped in to God, forgive me for saying this way, but we are kind of tapped into a mind hive, right? That is the human collective, but we are also individuals. I was driving along a road yesterday with my son, and we were having a conversation about human design. I don't even know what we were talking about exactly. And there was a field of snow geese that were along the side of the road. They were in a farm field. And almost by who knows what it was, something triggered them. And all at once they lifted off and they flew en masse to another part of the field. Like, did some one goose say, okay, we're done feeding here. It's better juicy morsels of whatever over there in that part of the field. So collectively they get up and they fly and they land as one, right? Well, we're part of the animal kingdom, no matter how much we want to, be haughty and say, oh yeah, we're so much better than that. We have evolved beyond that mind hive, if you will. But we're still a part of it. We are still tapped into the mind of humanity. But because of our evolution, we've also individuated. So we see that sometimes even in the animal kingdom when all of the most of the flock gets up and flies, but some stay where they are because, hey, right here in my world right now, this is perfect, right? I want to stay here. I'll join you guys over there later. So we see that there is the potential in all of life to be a part of the collective or to be an individual. We've perfected, if I can get away with saying that, the individual, right? We've perfected the individual, completely maybe dissociating from the collective. But yet every one of the things that you and I might be struggling with individually is just a piece of the mirror, a facet of what the whole of humanity is also experiencing. So in the ability for us to rise from judgment of our fellow human or even of ourselves, I mean, we're our own worst critics at times, right? I'm the one that's beating myself up because Mercury's retrograde and I forgot that I didn't send an email to somebody at the right time or something, right? But if we can rise up beyond judgment and into integrity, then we have integrity joining with the heart energy of farsightedness, and we become able to really self-heal and to look within and see something deeper, right? If I'm seeing a bunch of demons in my outer world, then I've got to draw that in and I've got to go, why are you seeing that? What inside me is seeking resolution? what inside of me is seeking healing. And that's the whole purpose for these things, right? For us to be able to bring it in, wheel it on in, and look inside and see, what does this mean for me? And then I can heal this. And but my very little part in the healing process helps the collective, right? It's like let's like crack a mirror and break it into 1,000,000 pieces or 7 billion pieces, let's say. And I take my piece and I heal it and I put it back, and it begins to affect the whole in a new way. I hope all that makes sense to everybody. It's pretty profound when you think about what these keys or these gates are really talking about in us as humans. And every week of the year, we have an opportunity, whether or not we have it defined in our chart, to work through some of these issues. Now, that doesn't mean that it's the only time of the year you work on this, by the way, because we could work on it every day if we're living with a spouse who has those same gates and we don't. We could be working on it every single day if we have those gates, or anytime any planet transits over those gates, we are working with that energy, and we're always seeking to become part of the whole, right? That is part of the drama and the trauma of our life here on Earth, is we've sort of individuated, but a part of us is always seeking to reconnect to the whole. And anyway, that's a whole story for another day. All righty, let's take a look at some of the things that are going on with the stars and the moon in particular, the planets. Today, the moon is sitting at about 15 degrees of Leo, and that 15-degree mark of the Leo Aquarius axis should be ringing some bells for you, because that is where the last lunar eclipse was. So today we are seeing sort of another glimpse, if you will, of what we learned at that lunar eclipse. So let me go back a little bit about eclipses, because when I do astrology readings for people, I'm probably one of the few astrologers that will actually look at your prenatal lunar eclipse and prenatal solar eclipse. And I'll tell you why I do that. For one thing, those two things that you experience while in your mother's womb are sort of telescoping energy into you. And whatever's happening in your mother's life at the time of those two eclipses, and we know they're game changers, we know they can be trauma and drama ridden, but those things have an effect on you as the developing infant. So then, and usually there's one of each of those eclipses in the 3 months before you were born. And that's because every 6 months we have major eclipse energies happening. So when we look at the prenatal solar eclipse, what we're looking at is what you specifically have come here to teach others. And that might mean you're here to teach others via your powerfully good representation of that energy, or in the ability to see you have to keep learning lessons over and over again. Either way, you're teaching your fellow human beings about that energy, whatever it happens to be. Now, the lunar eclipse is what you're here to learn. And so that energy then is what we're kind of looking at today in the experience of the last lunar eclipse, which was on, I want to say it was on February, it was either January 30th or February 15th. I think it was the 15th, because that would have been, it doesn't matter what the date was. It's that it was at 15 degrees Aquarius and also 15 degrees of Leo. And those same lessons that you were being exposed to at that point in time are coming to another little level. And as the moon goes through this degree once a month, we are learning, we're adding little pieces to the entire lesson that we were learning. And remember, the lesson across Aquarius and Leo was really all about claiming our particular brilliance, our gifts and our talents, and actually creating our authentic life from that. So you may see another little piece of that happening for you today. Now, at the same time, the moon is at about 15 degrees of Leo, The node's at 13 degrees of Leo, the north node. So they are very much interlocked here. And that's why I often think of this kind of connection as maybe the next revelation, the next step in your forward momentum in living your authentic life or living your destiny through the north node. Today, the moon is also in a trine with Mercury and Venus. Lovely energy, right? Being able to match up your soul energy, your heart, your emotional energy, and match it to what it is that you're saying, and also to how it is you're being in relationships. So it makes for a good, feely good sort of day, even though we have Mercury retrograde, and we still have to watch that we don't trip over our tongues or say things that we don't mean, or impulsive things that we say with, blurting. Today, we also have the moon squaring Jupiter. So there's a little bit of restlessness maybe to the day as well. It might be so muted in the background kind of thing that it's hard to pinpoint what that might be coming from. I noticed it this morning when I woke up. I felt like, oh, I need to jump up and get out of bed. But that feeling of butterflies in your tummy, I woke up with that feeling, and it's sort of an expectation, but also a restlessness. And I don't know what that's about, but now I do, because I looked and I went, oh, that's the moon squaring Jupiter, right? That vague sense of something's coming or something's going on. So it's kind of exciting, but it's also a little nerve-wracking, but it's in the background, and it doesn't mean anything except keep your eyes and your ears open to what is showing up for you, because it might mean that this little challenging time of energy is showing you the next direction that you're going to take off. So really, it's something that could be a challenge that ultimately works out in your favor and is a good thing. I wanted to let you all know tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which would be 8 p.m. in the East, I will be on Angel Heart Radio on Blog Talk Radio to talk with my friend Annette, who's down under. And we do this monthly. We meet on the last Tuesday of the month. Actually, we meet on the fourth Tuesday of the month. If there's a fifth one, well, then you've missed us. We're going to have been the week before. And today we're going to be we're going to be looking a little ahead. We're going to be farsighted, and we're going to take a look at what Chiron in Aries is going to be bringing for us. So those of you who are born in the early 70s and even to maybe like it was probably late 69 to about 1975, you have your natal Chiron in Aries. So you might want to tune in and find out what's coming up for you as you guys are headed into the next 6 years, your 50th birthdays, which opens you up to that Chiron return. So we're going to be talking about that today. What is the wound all about in Aries? How does it affect me if I don't have Chiron in Aries? And how does it affect you if you do have Chiron in Aries? So tune in on Blog Talk Radio. The station is Angel Heart Radio with Annette McCoy at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. East Coast time. So I won't see you there, but I'll hear you there. And actually, we do mini readings while we're on air. So if you want to call in, I will post on this Living Astrology page in a little bit the link for the show and the phone number. So if you want a mini reading to find out what the heck is going on for you with Chiron over the next 6 years, you can call in and get that information from me. All right. And lastly, this morning, just a quick reminder, because this will happen before I come on air tomorrow morning, the moon will be moving void of course from 5:54 a.m. This is East Coast time to 10:30 a.m. East Coast time. So you guys have a bit of a slow morning going on, right? If you're, hesitant to get out of bed, that might be why. I would put off any major commitments or conversations until after 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. If you're in the West Coast and the points in between, well, first of all, the West Coast is 2:54 a.m. I don't know about you, but I'm sound asleep then, to 7:30 a.m. So by the time you're off and running to your day, the moon has moved out of Leo and into Virgo, and the void, of course, is done. Yes. Okay. So a couple things coming up too on the morning show that I want to let you know. I'm hoping on Friday to have Jana Groscott here with us. She is the one that talks to us about the full moon and the new moon and the oils that work well with that time period. So I'll keep you posted on that. And next week, Wednesday, April 4th, yes, that'll be April 4th, believe it or not. Natasha Venter is going to be with us, the lady that we had on that does the angel cards and Reiki and so much more. She really channels the energy of the angels, and she brings us some wise information from that part of the consciousness. And we love her for that. So we'll have her on next week. And I think that's all I have for this morning. Any questions out there? Let's see. Good evening from Da Nang, Vietnam. Viva, what are you doing in Vietnam? Good morning, Vietnam. Or good evening if you're in Vietnam. Welcome, and it's good to see you out there. And within and without, let's see. So come on, guys. Do you have questions? So much young talent. Don't forget, too, I'm trying to get Londa to come on air with me one morning to tell us all about her trip to Israel and how that went. If they feel like they were able to achieve something. I just want to hear all about that because she was there for a couple of for weeks, actually, exploring the various holy sites and things like that. So I hope to have her on soon. All right, everybody. Well, it looks like I don't have any major questions or anything out there. Natasha says she's looking forward to being with everybody next week. And we're looking forward to having you with us, Natasha. And in the meantime, I guess everybody take care. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rain because soon it'll be the hottest summer and we'll be wishing for the rain. And Suzanne, enjoy the sun. You deserve it. All right, everyone, take care. Have a great day. Much love to all of you. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.